iPhone XS Max or Sony Xperia 1? Which one is faster? Let's find out in this video coming up. Let's go. So what is up, guys? Nick here, helping you to master your technology, and welcome to the XS Max versus the Xperia 1. Let's boot these up at the same time in 3, 2, 1 and see which one does get there first. Now, I can tell you right now that the Apple A12 Bionic chipset is one of the most powerful CPUs on the planet, but the Snapdragon 855 for the Xperia 1 also is one of the most powerful CPUs on the planet. 6 gigabytes of RAM here on the right, and over here we have 4 gigabytes, but again, with Apple products, you don't always need so much RAM because it's a super optimized OS. The Sony takes the iPhone XS Max to school on the boot up test. Okay, so when it comes to biometric security, the iPhone XS Max does feature Face Unlock, and you could see very quick. Over here for the Sony Xperia 1, we're talking about a fingerprint scanner. So it's right there and it's physical and it's in a nice location. It's pretty easy to reach. In terms of speed of unlocking these phones, I think they're about the same. This is not the fastest fingerprint sensor in the world, but it's not slow neither. The Sony Xperia 1 also has Face Unlock, but it's not super secure. We'll just look at the phone. And you can see down here, it does say unlock and we're in. So you can use it, but I wouldn't recommend it for security purposes. In terms of getting into the device, I do think the fingerprint scanner on the Sony is pretty quick and fast enough in comparison to Face ID. So quickly confirming the software, 12.3.1, I'm not gonna run the beta because that's not an official software versus an official software. Android 9 Pie over here, and I'm expecting Q to come to the Xperia 1 as it's a pretty light version. I usually see the updates kind of quickly on the Sony phone. Also, I expect 13 to make this a little faster. So if you want to see a rerun of these two when they get their updates, let me know down below. Okay guys, so we've arrived at the application portion of this speed test. You can see everything closed out for the Sony, everything closed out on the iPhone. Let's begin with Instagram, 3, 2, 1. And you could see Instagram went to, it looked like the iPhone on that one coming home. Let's go into Twitter. And you can see Twitter goes to the Xperia 1, both with 7nm chips, 855 on the right, 812 on the left, Pandora. And you can see we're ready to listen first slightly on the iPhone. Let's go into Best Buy. And you can see Best Buy goes to the Xperia 1 by far. So the Xperia 1 hanging right there with the iPhone. So it is a similar price point, but it's definitely hanging there in performance. Let's go to eBay. And you can see eBay first there for the Xperia over the iPhone. Let's go into Amazon. And you can see Amazon loaded first. It looked like on the Xperia. It was showing first on the iPhone, but the actual load came in on the Xperia. Let's go into Pixlr. And you can see Pixlr goes to the Xperia. Let's go into Video Shop. And again, that looked like the Xperia, mostly due to the animation. iOS 13 improves this, so if you guys want to see a rerun when iOS 13 comes and Android Q comes, let me know. Let's go to Subway Surfers and see which one can load this first. iPhone. iPhone's a very fast gaming phone, but so is this Sony, and has this game enhancer mode that makes it even better. Let's go into Temple Run 2. And you can see, looks like Sony takes this one over the iPhone. Once you're playing, I do notice that with this game enhancer mode, the performance just looks silky smooth and beautiful on the Sony Xperia 1. Let's go into the next game, which is this one right here, and see which one can get in there first. So that's definitely going to the iPhone. Let's hit play and see which one can load it up first. And looks like the iPhone a little bit ahead there. So gaming maybe still a little bit better for the titles on the iPhone. They usually get some of the nicest titles, and also the performance is very slick, but it's very good here on this phone as well. So let's go into PUBG Mobile and see which one can get there first. Now, currently it looks like the iPhone might be ahead. Yes, definitely ahead so far. And it seems like once you get into these more graphically intensive games, or these games that just require more power, it just seems like they're better optimized a lot of the time for the iPhone. So we're in and ready to go on the iPhone. We're still loading over here on the Sony phone, but let me tell you, the Sony does some magic in its game enhancer mode right here, where you can put the game performance up to performance preferred, and it gets really smooth and beautiful. and just really good performance there for an Android phone. I'd say that the iPhone's still a little bit ahead here in gaming. So at the end of this round, it's basically like what we usually come to a conclusion, and that's that the application portion, a lot of them snapped open first on the Xperia, but when it comes to the more graphically intensive games, iPhone's still in the lead. Not a big difference. They're pretty close in performance. This probably wouldn't be my deciding factor on these two either. So let's go ahead and run a RAM management test now, or a reload, to see if we get anything that chokes up on the iPhone, and then we'll do the Sony phone. There we go. Everything's good. Let's go into Subway Surfers, and that was good to go. Let's go into Video Shop. Let's go into Pixlr. Let's go into Amazon, eBay. Best Buy is good to go. Let's go into Pandora, ready to listen. Let's go into Twitter, and let's go into Instagram, and we're good to go. So the iPhone, pretty silky smooth reloads there. Let's go into PUBG Mobile here. For the Sony, that was open. This game right here, let's go into Temple Run 2. That's good to go. Subway Surfer, so pretty good RAM management so far for the Sony as well. Pixlr's open, Amazon's open, eBay is open. Best Buy is open. Pandora is also reloading there. I guess the Pandora stays open there on the iPhone and then reloads here, but it's just got a re-listen, so I wouldn't say much about that. Twitter, let's go into Instagram, and pretty good. So again, another area I wouldn't pick one of these over the other when it comes to performance. They reload apps at a pretty good pace, both of them. Okay guys, so I took a 1-minute video, the same one on both, and we're gonna go ahead and save this to the gallery to see which one does better in this quick render. Let's go ahead and send them to the gallery, 3, 2, and 1, and see which one can do this first. So the Sony is really doing quite well here. The iPhone a little bit behind, it looks like, which is pretty shocking to see, as they're both doing the same process. And the Sony takes this one right here, but remember that the iPhone does have iMovie, LumaFusion, some great video rendering applications that are probably a little bit faster than this one, but for this round, it goes to the Xperia 1. So let's give it credit where credit's due. This phone does very good in that application as well. So the final Geekbench scores are in. You can see that the iPhone XS Max with an easy win over the Xperia 1, and it's definitely, I think, a more powerful phone at the end of the day, but the Xperia 1 is a super powerful phone as well. And you've seen in this video that if you were deciding or thinking about getting one, you don't got to worry too much about the performance. Even with the 6 GB of RAM, it's pretty good. I do find it not to be quite as smooth as like a OnePlus 7 Pro, for example, because it doesn't have an always on 90 Hz display most of the time. And the iPhone's still a very smooth device, but at the end of the day, you really got to give it credit. They really stepped it up with this Xperia 1. And of course, the iPhone, always some class leading performance with the CPU. In conclusion, we don't have any clear winner. The only winner to you is going to be the phone that you like more, whether that's an Apple iPhone XS Max or a Sony Xperia 1. That's really down to Android or iOS, but you've seen in this video that this is a pretty good performer with that Snapdragon 855, and as always, the XS Max remains a strong performer. Which phone would you pick, the XS Max or the Xperia 1? If you want to see any more comparisons between these two, maybe a full comparison, camera comparison, let me know, and I will consider making those. Thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you haven't already. Nick here helping you to master your technology. Be sure to be well, and peace.